It's Makeover Monday, and we're here at Strand's Hair Spa in Port Neches. And Rochelle and I were talking earlier about trends for 2014, and one of them is wavy hair.
Yes, of course, the wavy hair is very popular right now. So what we are showing at this point is to definitely get those hot rollers out from the back of the cabinet, because this is something that is going to make that wavy hair that's going to be very trendy for 2014. It's going to make it so much easier to do. So we definitely want to recommend that you get those out, because I know everyone has a set.
Right, from the 80s that's been put up, probably still works.
Exactly. And so to get this really cool look that we're wanting, I'm using the bigger hot rollers on Mandy's hair, which Mandy has wonderful long hair, you know, beautiful textured hair. And so I'm using my bigger size rollers in the front. And I'm really kind of wanting to do that, you know, that wing look on her that's really popular. And so that is why, you know, I'm choosing to use the big ones.
Okay, now Mandy does have longer hair, but you can achieve this with shorter hair as well.
Oh, exactly. Oh, yes, we definitely recommend, because a lot of people have some length on top. And, oh, yeah, it's going to make it so much easier, because you can have these hot rollers in your hair while you're doing your makeup. It's just such an awesome thing to do. And so it just saves a lot of time for us getting ready in the morning.
Okay, now what are you prepping her hair with?
Okay, this is something that's definitely a must that's going to make these hot rollers work better. It's the Be Curly hairspray. So you definitely want to spray evenly all the way from the scalp to the ends when you're using the hot rollers before you roll the hair. And so that is very, very important. Okay, so I'm going to continue to go with the bigger roller right here around the front of her face. Okay, and so this is, and I'm taking big sections. So look, the first quarter of her head here is just done with 3 rollers. And so that is very fast. And that's going to be neat. Okay.
So you don't have to do this in really small sections.
No, not at all. You're going to do just really big sections, because that's what's very in, and it's going to look great. And like I said, make sure that you have the even hairspray all the way down the ends, because that is very, very important on this. And so the wavy look is just really awesome. There's just so many different, you know, waves. You can do a smaller wave, a bigger wave, and it's really in, and the hot rollers just make it so easy.
Oh, right, and doing the bigger sections, it doesn't take so long.
Right, exactly. And you can also, they don't have to be perfect either. You know, so see how big of a section I'm taking here. This is really neat. And we are also going to show you in just a minute how to use, you know, the curling irons as well, because a lot of people have a hard time with the curling iron, and you know, it does take practice.
And not everyone has a set of hot rollers at home.
Exactly. But most everyone does have a curling iron somewhere. So we're going to show you how to achieve that look. Okay, so we're going to go over to the other side of her head.
So we're just going to let these cool off a bit.
Exactly, yeah. Well, let me do one more right here, and then I am going to let them cool off. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do right before I take them down, which is very important as well.
Okay, so you don't recommend using the smaller ones at all?
In some places where the hair is harder to curl, you can use the smaller ones, or especially, you know, if you're limited on how many, you know, if we were doing her whole head, yes, I would probably just use the big ones on the top and use the smaller ones at the bottom.
Okay.
But since I'm, you know, kind of have more rollers, that's, you know, it just depends on how many rollers you have and how thick your hair is. So that's kind of how you judge that. Okay, so that looks very good. Okay, so now what we're going to show you is, you know, some different ways to curl the hair with the curling iron. So we have 3 different size curling irons, but what I'm going to use first, I'm going to use my 1¼ curling iron. Okay, and of course I know this has got a Marcel handle, but still you're going to use the because this is a professional iron that I'm using. But most people have a spring iron handle, and so you're going to use it you know, the same way. You're just going to kind of push it down. Okay, so then of course what I'm showing, it's so important for the hairspray. You're not going to get the look you want if you don't spray it first. Okay. It's not going to stay as well. And so as a stylist, we're just telling you that's what we do to get the results that we want. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp like in the middle of the hair shaft, and then I'm going to come all the way down to the end. You always want to get those ends, and then I'm going to roll it up. Hold it just for a second. And there we go. See how pretty that is?
Okay, so there's no need to sit there with the hair around the curling iron for a couple of minutes.
Not for too long, no. Actually, I have a hot tool curling iron, and we do sell them here at the salon, and they have a dial on them, and it has a heat degree. And I turn mine all the way up to the, the highest level, of course, because I'm a stylist and I keep mine on. And so, yes, you don't want to hold that on the hair because you want to protect the hair. But like I said, that hairspray all the way down to the end. Okay? So I'm going to clamp in the middle, roll it. This is like a barrel curl that I'm doing on her hair. Make sure you get those ends. You don't want to crip those ends. Hold it up. About a second. We're good to go. And see how that curl holds together like that? And how it's stuck together, and that's really good. That's what the hairspray does. Because I can finger through it in a little bit, but that's gonna make the curl look prettier. Okay.
Okay, now I noticed as you were curling this last strand, like you didn't just go all the way down to the end and curl up.
Right.
Why did you do it like that?
Because you're going to get a better curl. This is called like more of a barrel curl, and you're going to get more results. If I pull it all the way down to the end and then I start rolling it up, it's not going to be as good of a curl. So I'm starting in the middle of the hair shaft, and that's what's really important. Okay, so I'm going to do this one around her face as well. Pulling it down to the end, started in the middle. And I am dragging this one a little bit because I don't want it super curly right around her face. Let me go back and do this one too. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a little bit smaller curl with a little bit smaller curling iron because some people might want a smaller curl.
Right.
Now this is a 1-inch curling iron. Okay, and so that's really neat. There's all different sizes of curls that you can get.
So it just depends on what look you're going for.
And so this is more of a barrel curl as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do, definitely the spray, like I said, every single time, use that spray all the way down to the ends. Okay, and I am again going to clamp the hair in the middle. Okay, I'm holding on to the end. So I'm slowly rolling it up, holding that hair, rolling it up, I'm sorry, let me do it one more time, sorry. But making sure that end, because if that end is not, it's going to crimp if it's not caught.
Right.
Because that's what a lot of people do in mistakes. And you can, while, it's on, you can spray some hairspray again, just on that outer side. And I do that a lot. And I'm going to let this one sit just a little bit longer, but I still have my curling iron turned up really high.
Right.
Okay, and so see how that's going to create a barrel curl? Okay, and then what I'll do as well, once I get through with the curl, is I'm going to spray that to set it in. Okay, that's a pretty curl. And
That's a pretty curl.
with the 1-inch curling iron. Okay, so what I'm going to do too on these as well is I'm going to go back and spray over these. And I'm going to use my blow dryer just a little bit, and I haven't touched any of the curls yet.
Right.
Okay? I'm just going to kind of dry that hairspray. Okay, so we will show you the difference. Okay, I'm going to start at the bottom. Taking her hot rollers out, they're going to be a little bit bouncier, probably than the other side.
So that's typically what you're going to get, the difference between using the hot rollers versus a curling iron.
Exactly.
Now, ultimately, in your opinion, which one will last longer throughout the day?
Probably, I would say the hot rollers are going to last a lot longer, but it just depends on the hair. But as you can see, it's in there, that volume.
Oh, yeah. A lot of volume.
But using the right products, they're both going to stay. Even girls with really, really fine hair, we can make their hair stay with the right products and doing the curl, spraying the technique and then doing the curling iron. Okay, so see the difference? Mandy's going to have a little bit more volume. I'm just going to kind of pick it out. It's going to be a real loose look.
So is it better to pick through the curls with your fingers as opposed to a brush or a comb?
Oh yes, definitely. You don't want to, you're going to brush that right out, and we just kind of want a loose, look, and we don't want to frizz it at all, because it could frizz it if it is brushed through. And just kind of sculpt it with your hands. It's really pretty. That's pretty. Okay. And so then this side, to me, this side will be a little bit more uniform than the hot roller side, because you have more control with the curling iron.
Right.
And so, yeah, this side's just going to be a little bit more relaxed, and this one you can get more of that wave that you want. I'm going to get that volume back there. See, so that's looking really pretty. So it kind of shows you the different types of curls that you're going to get.
Right.
But it also is all creating that same look. But, we're just trying to show you an easier way. The hot rollers are definitely an easier way.
Right.
To do other things. You don't have to sit there with the curling iron like this side.
But even using the curling iron is not too bad. Didn't take you very long to do.
No, you can do big sections with that. The curling iron, that's what's good about it, and that's what look that's in, and so it looks wonderful. Mandy's so pretty anyway.
Yeah, she's a great model. She's got
Yes.
great hair. But of course, if anyone, wants to learn, they can come in and you can do it for them and show them the proper way to do it as well.
Definitely. It's very important for them to learn at home, and we want to teach all of our guests that. So.
And if they come in the month of January, they get a free gift.
Exactly. The free gift is if they come in and they check in while they're here on Facebook, then they get a free Stress Fix body lotion, and that's got lavender in it, and it's really good. We love to give free gifts out here at Strands. So.
All right. Thank you so much, Rochelle. And that's it for Makeover Monday. See you in a moment.